Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how I painted and weathered my model railway track to give it that rustic look. I think it looks amazing. So I'm going to weather this track all along here, all these rivets. I'm going to do it in stages. So I'm going to do all the rivets along the track here. Now, the colours that I'm using, I'm going to be using this a mix of colours of these to try and give it this sort of browny orangey colour, like a rusty colour. So I've made like my own sort of rust look there, and then let's give it a go. I'm just putting it on the rivets for the moment. You can always use a bit of tissue just to dab your brush. I'm going to be going over the whole track with like a brown, but just giving the rivets a little bit of a colour. In fact, I might add a little bit more red, just a little bit more red into that. You can see just by adding a little bit of red how it changes that completely. I'll just add a bit of water to that as well, just to loosen it up a little bit. Dab the brush, you can see the difference is a little bit redder there. Just go over the rivets. Now the idea of this is I've got a lot of track to cover, so obviously you want to take your time, but at the same time you got to try and do it in a speedy way without spending too long. So I'm just going over all the rivets. It doesn't need to be completely perfect, because it's just like a rust effect on the joints there on the track. Give it a bit of weathering effect. Make sure you go all along. Now I'm doing it on this test piece here. So I've just got this bit. This is completely new to me. I'm doing this, never done this before, so I'm just doing it on this sort of test bit, and I thought it would be a good idea to show what I'm doing. And once I'm happy with this, I will then do the rest of the track. So I think that's a good idea for anyone who's thinking of doing this, to do it on a test bit first, get it to how they imagine that they want it to look like, and then do the rest of the track. And we'll see how this test bit comes out. Inside. So I think that's quite a nice colour, sort of a good mix of these paints to create the effect that you want. So I think that's, don't just go and get, I mean, I suppose you can just get one rust colour look that you want, but I find experimenting with different colours is a good method. One of the other things I recommend is these, you know, quite thin brushes here. This is a number 2 size brush, and good lighting as well, so you can see what you're doing. I'm quite happy with that. So now I'm going to make up another colour, a brownish colour, to just sort of go over that. Now I might dry brush it, I'm thinking. So I'm going to stop here and make up a mix, and then I'll come back and show you what I'm going to be doing next. Okay. I've just made a brown, nice browny earthy colour here. That's just using this colour here, Steel Legion. I don't know if you can see that there. So it's just, that is just purely that, with a bit of water. And what I'm going to do, before I dry brush, I'm just going to run my brush on the inside of the track, just so it gets a little bit weathered inside. Now if you get a bit on the track there, just wipe it off, just to keep the top of the track as clear as possible. So just, again, it doesn't need to be perfect. That's nice, that's looking a nice sort of earthy tone there. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect, it's just adding that sort of weathery effect. I think it's actually quite nice seeing some of the track, some of the metal of the track still coming through. I think that's kind of nice. So adding a bit of water to the paint just makes it a bit more runny, just so it doesn't go on too thick. It's easier to paint when it's a little bit watery. I'm no expert at this, and you might find a different way of doing it, but this is just the way I'm sort of giving it a go at, and seeing what the result I get. You can only give these things a go and see what the outcome you get, but yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It's looking quite nice. I'm going to show you a few close-ups of this once I've sort of getting to the near results that I'm looking for. Right. So that's all done in the inside. It's done. I need to do the inside of the track there. You can just easily get the brush in there and run it along in that track there. I think I'll dry brush all this other bit here. So what you need for dry brushing is a bit of a bigger brush. Let's have a look. That could be a good brush. So I'm going to go straight in to the pot with this because I don't want any water, and then you really dry the brush out. So just with a bit of tissue, really dry the brush. And we'll try that. So we'll just go, it's best just to go one way. I'm just working it one way. I'm lifting the brush up. It looks like I'm doing both ways, but I'm lifting it up and then coming back. So a bit more paint. Effect on the camera. It's quite hard to get it on the camera, but in my eye I can really see the difference. Don't forget to do the edges here. I quite like that effect. It just looks like a bit of mud, a bit of soot, you know, going into the track. Right, what I'm going to do now is just wipe the track down. So it's a good idea, just as you go, just wipe the track down, get that excess paint off that rail there. Oh, I'm going to go and have a look at that on my board and see what that looks like. Okay, that's it on the board there. Hopefully you can see that. I think it looks quite good. So with the same colours, I'm going to follow the same process all on the track. Just another thing, while doing this, it can be, you know, a bit stronger in one area and a bit weaker in another area, so it's a bit randomly, and that's the effect I want. I don't want it all exactly the same. So do one, you know, do a bit heavier than another bit, so it's a bit random. So now I'm just doing the inside of the track with the browny colour. So we're just coming up to this part of the track here now. This is my first bit of scenery that I've made, and I think it looks really good. There's a little hut there, it's a little plastic kit, and I just painted it and made a fence and a garden here. So I'm really happy how that's turned out. So I just thought I'd just show you that as we're coming up to this part of the track. So there's the results. I think the rustic track looks really good. It's come out really nice. Really happy with the results. If you can like and subscribe to the channel, really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.